I'm done. Yo guys, how's everyone doing? Your guy AssassinDave here, and it's been a while since we actually done one of these heart-to-heart talk, I suppose, and today I just feel like keeping it above 1,000 with you, share some of my weird experiences in the early half of 2021. I also want to take this opportunity and really just answer some of your questions, such as, why our channel's not 1 million subs yet and all that. Before we start, guys, just remember to destroy that like button for me for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much. So you guys, Dave, can have more motivations to pump out more content. Now, let's start addressing the elephant in the room. Obviously, you click for the title, why I quit League of Legends Wild Rift, or why I stopped making content for it, stopped streaming it, or just simply stopped playing it in a lot of ways. Now, do mind you, I actually spent or invested thousands of dollars into this game. Probably tens of thousands of dollars now if you really think about it, because I actually went to Korea when the game first launched in SEA, and I really wanted to be one of the first movers and experience the game and see how it is, really try the game for myself and then share with the community. And just a little bit more background on that, I actually went to Korea in November of 2020, despite the pandemic, despite like how difficult it was. I was trying to find an SEA country, and all the SEA countries were closed because of the pandemic. Korea was the only country that was open, but you have to go through this whole quarantine process, and then they put you in this hotel and give you shitty food for 2 weeks. And then you come out, before you leave Korea, you have to go get yourself checked at a local facility. And you have to spend hundreds of dollars to get yourself checked before you can buy a flight ticket back to the United States. And then after you come back, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. It's just a lot of process just to go to Korea, but I was determined. Personally, I've been a long-time fan for League of Legends. I've been playing League of Legends PC, and then I was Dota 2 player. So obviously when we have a mobile game that is more complex, it has more depth to do content with, to actually learn, study, and progress. I was all about that. So I booked myself a ticket, get through the whole process, went to Korea, organized some tournaments for League of Legends Wild Rift as well. And you know what's interesting? The tournament that I organized, the Wild Rift Asia Brawl, hosted, organized, find sponsor for while I was in Korea, still remain the biggest, largest community tournament in the entire League of Legends Wild Rift. I'm talking about on a global standard. In fact, our numbers were better than most days for the Icon series, the official tournament that League of Legends Wild Rift organized themselves. And I have very limited funds, right? And we're still able to pull out the best numbers for Wild Rift tournaments, which is kind of sad if you really think about it. In fact, once I came back to the United States, I still remained playing League of Legends Wild Rift for the North America server. I was really excited that finally we're gonna get the server in North America, and we organized tournaments for the North America community as well for Wild Rift. In fact, I casted many community tournaments in Wild Rift, as many I can find, as many I can get myself involved in. I don't know, I guess I just really enjoyed playing League of Legends Wild Rift, to the point where I even helped the developers with their balance changes with the UI. I've sent out many suggestions to the developers using my own time, completely unpaid, just sharing what I thought was a better decision to make thanks to my many years of experience working in this industry, right? I've seen many mobile games, either go down or go up. And after you worked on so many games, you actually find a pattern, or at least saw a pattern of success and pattern of failure, right? For example, Honor of King being one of the biggest games in China, biggest game in the world still. And there are certain reasons why they're able to succeed. And if you look at their counterpart, right, the international version of that game, aka Arena of Valor, why did that game fail so miserably in the Western region? There are many things that you can see a pattern of. And I saw the resemblance of Wild Rift team doing the similar things as Arena of Valor did. In fact, in May, I was a bit desperate. And after many attempts, I was finally able to reach out to one developer who was supposedly the influencer manager for Wild Rift. And I spent my own time, again unpaid, wrote up a 5-page report during the weekend for them. Why I think the game is going downhill and my recommendations for each item. But it received no response. Not even a thank you note. Not that I need the thank you note, I just need them to actually acknowledge whether they agree with the items or not. What they think about them and what changes are we expecting to see for Wild Rift. But I got none of that. In fact, the person I finally contacted was too reluctant to give me their email address directly. They gave me a support email for Wild Rift. So I send my report to that address as instructed instructed, but again, it just went completely quiet, you know, completely silent. I got no response at all. And Twitch Rival, which actually Riot spent a lot of money on for League of Legends Wild Rift, twice in a row, I didn't get a single mention or invitation, right? Not a single sound of what happened. Obviously, Twitch Rival's event where they invited the PC players and then really introduced the game to them. But as an influencer manager, I mean, isn't that too difficult to also invite some of the dedicated content creators in the Wild Rift space already so the PC viewers will actually come here and watch the dedicated Wild Rift streamers? But no, right? A lot of my friends, actually most of my people I know, did not get an invitation. The people who got invited are mostly just from an organization that has a lot of money and power and influence. Like basically us content creators who are dedicating our time, our energy, our life to make content to help the game to create a community, we don't really matter, right? What matters is who has money and power. I mean, I thought gaming industry is a lot more different. You know, I thought you have a lot more passionate people who are working in the game, trying to make the game better together. Then it makes sense. Like if I'm an influencer manager, it's not just common sense to pick all the people who are streaming the most, who are pumping out the most content and say, hey, let's give them the better opportunity here, right? Because they're really working towards building a community. So it got to a point where I just think that, you know, the developer just really doesn't care about the content. You know, maybe Wild Rift is just catering to the competitive side of players from everything it's doing right now, because again, it's working with certain orgs. It seemed like they have no intentions catering to the casual fan base, or simply just have no idea how to do it, you know, based on the decisions and action they're taking in game or off game. The game has been out for half a year in North America. It's been out for over a year in many other regions, right? And look where the game is right now, right? If you are above Diamond, it takes 15 minutes on average to find a solo queue game. If you are about like Challenger, it takes you many hours to get a game, and it's gonna be low quality games because the way how they calculate the matchmaking is very different from any other mobile game, right? Because in Wild Rift, they care very seriously about the competitive side of things. And then they use MMR, which is calculated with a bunch of metrics. Most important metric from our experience is your win rate. Basically, if you have high win rate, because you're a good player, you're gonna be matched with really average to lower players on your team. And you're gonna go against much stronger pre-made on the other side. So basically solo queue is completely unplayable. And if you play duo and trio, you better pray that your teammate's gonna carry. Because you have high win rates, they're gonna give you really bad randoms. So it's 3 versus 7 usually. If you're gonna play trio, if you play solo, it's 1 versus 9. That's usually how it is in Wild Rift. And I don't know why it's so complicated. Just say that, hey, maybe we can create a solo queue ladder only where everybody plays solo queue. Why is it not a common sense to create a solo queue ladder, really? It has so much success in China already, the biggest market, the mobile world, right? Like literally, a lot of stuff has been tested in that huge market to be working, and yet the other companies, let's just not learn from the best. So we're gonna walk our own road. I understand that, I understand innovation, I understand like self-identity. Yeah, that's all good. But at the same time, you shouldn't make the same mistakes the other company made. You know, I don't wanna spend too much time talking about all those areas, but I will just give you guys one example. Mobile platform is casual in nature. If you look at all the successful mobile games, for example, Supercell games, all Supercell games can be finished in 2 to 3 minutes when you're sitting on a toilet, when you're anywhere, really. The 2 to 3 small fragment of time. Now, obviously, you cannot do that in MOBA. But again, you look at the nature of things. Why is TikTok so successful? You know, why is people moving away from lengthy content and start really just watching a 15-second video on TikTok? There are really a lot of patterns that you can observe and then try to use to your advantage. But Wild Rift, like I mentioned, it's just catering to a competitive edge, like tiny fraction of the entire population, the gaming community, will actually play games. If you think about most people who play games, they're not pro players. They're people who have a job, who work in many hours in their work and then come back or go to school, for example, right? Have a lot of homework and then really got just a fraction of time of their day that they can play game with. Are they really looking to play another competitive game if they have a computer that would play a PC game, right? Much better graphics. You cannot compete with PC right now. You cannot compete with console right now, right? The PS4, Xbox, how can you compete with those qualities? If you're not competing with the PC games, if you try to just join the mobile market, then mobile market is casual, as I mentioned, right? Then why are you making a game that's only catering to the competitive community? And when I talked to a developer about this area, they said, we want to keep our specialty, we want to keep our edge, right? We want to make sure the game does have skill in it. just making the game casual doesn't mean the game cannot have skills, right? You can have champion created. You can have a certain champion that is much higher skilled required than the other champions. If you execute those, it can work really well. You can make the game to cover both sides, but you have to have a casual element where most people can join and play and have fun. Right now, that doesn't exist in Wild Rift. I'm not saying that it is not going to happen in the future, but might be too late already. You know, like still at this point of the game, it's impossible to find a casual game, a PvP, a normal game in Wild Rift if you're high ranked. Because Wild Rift is using their rank seeding to actually match you in PvP, in normal games, which makes zero sense to me. Then what's the difference of having a casual and a rank? You know, you basically casual is just a easier, a tiny bit wider range to matchmake than rank, and it's blind draft. That's the only difference. You know, then why are you even having two ladders? The PvP is supposed to be where people practice, where people have fun. They don't really care about the results. They just want to go play a game. And then if you want to play rank, if you want to have a fair, more competitive environment, go to rank. There's a mode called rank, right? And if you want to have a even more fair environment, create a solo queue ladder. Which part of what I said was just not common sense? Which part of what I said was rocket science? I don't really understand why common sense is just not so common nowadays. Another thing is social features for Wild Rift, for example. You have no social features in Wild Rift at all. In a mobile game where people play, you have seen many successful examples, Honor of King, Mobile Legends. Why are they so viral, so successful in many different ways? One big reason is the social feature that's implemented in the game. People like to show off. It's similar to buying a really nice car in your community and all that, you know, to show off, right? So there's a reason for people to buy thousands of skins. There's a reason for people to buy thousands of champions. That's not possible. But you know what I'm trying to say, right? They buy all the stuff, most of the stuff they're never gonna use, but they wanna buy it, so they have the status thing in the game. And social feature allowed that status, satisfy the emotion of that. Which might sound like a bad thing to a lot of people, but that's actually bread and butter, right? That's bread and butter for the game, that's bread and butter for a lot of content creators, to be honest. Overall, I guess what I'm trying to say is Wild Rift is just too complicated for most of the players, and I don't think the developer are intended to make the game casual so more players can play the game or have fun in it. And I'm a full-time YouTuber. This is my job. I make content. And even though I'm a quite, exploratory, you know, or unconventional content creator, right? I like to explore in dangerous waters. I like to go try Wild Rift. I like to try Ring of Valor when the game first came out. I like to try those games to see how it was. If you were here since the beginning when I first played in Mobile Legends, I was actually part of the #1 team in Mobile Legends before I left to play pro for Ring of Valor. I'm a very competitive person. I like to compete in a tournament. I like to compete in the game. Maybe too old for that now, so I really want to work on a backstage stuff, right? Make content for the community, share some knowledge I've accumulated over the years. But still, that doesn't change the fact I'm a competitive person. But is that good for content? No. Like, if you're talking about League of Legends PC, where the game is huge and there's actually viewership, there's actually people who like to play a game and watch the game, watch a competitive game. And then if you play pro, if you're a pro player, you get paid a decent salary. You can use that to help you with your popularity in game. You know, you eventually build a career like a lot of League of Legends pro player did, like a lot of other game pro player did. But if you come into Wild Rift, a game that's already having a small community, and you try to make it more competitive where less people can play this game. I mean, when we talk to the pro players, I guess my thought is, what's the point of going pro, right? You're not gonna get paid much. You're probably gonna pay like what, $500 to $1,000 a month. And then in North America, that's not a living wage. But at the same time, orgs simply can't afford much. It doesn't make any sense for an organization to spend $1 million in a game when a game doesn't have any organic viewers, when a game doesn't have any fans that's gonna help the org. I have to stick to my original predictions when I first said League of Legends Wild Rift is gonna have a tough road ahead. And right now, if you look at the game, really, it is having a tough road, and it's probably gonna have a tougher road going forward. A lot of people said, oh, the game is not officially launched. Once it's launched, it's gonna be blowing up. It's gonna kill all the other games. No, dude, I think the game only have a small window to be successful once it's launched. If it missed that launch window, you rarely see a game having a second chance. There's no such thing. There's no like, oh, now I'm gonna spend $1 billion in this game. It's gonna miraculously become successful. No. Every game will really have just one chance to gain popularity, and then to see from there, right? If it missed the first window, it's you know what I'm trying to say. Now, for those people who ask Dave, why you're not a million subs yet? It's actually an interesting question. It's largely my fault. Again, like I said, I'm a very competitive person, very exploratory. When Arena Valor first came out, I was one of the biggest YouTuber in the entire Mobile Legend community. I think at that time, I was the first one who got invited to Jakarta, and I was one of the fastest growing one. I was doing content with developers as well on guides and stuff. But the game really didn't offer much for North America community. You guys probably knew I was the only one organizing tournaments before Arena Valor really came out. I organized probably 6 tournaments for Mobile Legends at this point, and we still kept the most watched viewership in the entire North America region. The best quality production that I knew at the time. But that doesn't mean I understand YouTube algorithm. In fact, I think I'm just quite unlucky, right? At the time when I first wanted to play pro for Arena Valor, I knew nothing about YouTube. This is my first attempt, you know, to be a YouTuber. I did not know how certain contents can hurt your algorithm or just make it where YouTube just completely stop recommending your content. It doesn't mean your content is getting less interesting. It's just that once you switch a game, for example, a large of your community who came here to watch you for that game is gonna stop. And then YouTube gonna think, oh, okay, probably people lost interest for this channel, so let's not recommend this channel content anymore. This channel content quality probably dropped. But that's not the case, right? The quality is still there. It's just the content is not recommended anymore. So I have never knew that was the case, and then it really hurted my channel, I think twice, right? One time is when I switched to Arena Valor, and obviously I stopped pumping content for Mobile Legends because I want to test out Wild Rift. So all of those actually hurted the YouTube algorithm for my channel. But don't worry, guys. We're going to continue to pump out great contents, you know, best guides in the community. I think we're the only channel who are dedicated to make quality contents and guides. Not just some troll videos or a diary of your gameplay every day. Not that, right? We pump out guides that you can actually implement right away, mentality guides. Because I firmly believe in teach you how to fish rather than give you a fish, right? If I can teach you how to fish, you can fish for life. If you can really understand why people make decisions and start making those same decisions, you're going to see yourself improve really, really quickly. And I'll continue to pump out those type of contents. So if you enjoy the content we have been doing so far, remember to like the videos and really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe and turn the bell on to all notification bells. If you don't do all, if you just click on the bell, it will actually not send you any content. You have to click on all notifications, and that's the only way for you to receive the best guides. But a real talk, I just been having a hard time building a team like I used to, right? Team Assassination Esports, a lot of you guys knew it for a long time. We're North America #1. And I'm a big fan of all the North America teams, but I'm a firm believer that I can build a quality team that can compete in the highest level in North America. Doesn't matter which mobile game it is, because I believe in my analytical abilities. If you look at the Assassination Esports I revived after I came back, we're able to defeat the North America #1 teams many times in a row, on stream, off stream. Unfortunately, kids are being kids, right? In fact, a lot of the teammates that I spent a lot of energy on, you know, help them, train them, and then buy them skin, but because we couldn't sign contracts in North America, I couldn't offer them money. Instead of playing game with me, they rather snipe me on stream, because for 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds, it's more fun that way. It's more fun to see your team captain, team leader cry for some bizarre reason. I couldn't understand it. Maybe kids just being kids. Maybe, you know, eventually when I have a kid in the future, I might be able to understand it more if I talk to my own kid. But right now, I don't really have time to deal with kids anymore, so I just stopped building teams. I'm just gonna have some fun, play the game by myself, experience the solo queue life, you know, lose some, win some, have some fun, relax, and share some knowledge with the community. I think that will be it for us, guys. I believe we're gonna reach 1 million subs. It's gonna take some time, but after we train the algorithm back in our favor, we are gonna make it, I believe. If you watched all the way till here, that means you're really something. You're really the community member that we are looking for. You're awesome. Love you. Give you an e-kiss. Mwah. Thank you so much for being with us through thick and thin. So with that, AssassinDave signing off. Look forward to see you all in our next guide, next video, next live stream. Love you guys. Bye for now.
Just for the thrill of it.